I'm going to do an insight video today on change, because I feel this is sort of like something that's happening a lot at the moment. Like I said, the other day I mentioned that I've got like a malachite bracelet, and I've got like a moonstone bracelet, and these two crystals, when I looked up the other day, relate to change. But moonstone also relates to harmony, balance. It relates to the angelic presence. It relates to healing, cleansing, clearing, all those kind of things. Malachite works on the heart chakra as well. But also malachite is a crystal for change. I've got labradorite here today, which I always feel is good for mental clarity. It is sort of like the rainbows in it. It helps to sort of like clear the illusions, helps with dreams, it helps with consciousness, communication. I've also got like Super 7, which is a really good crystal. It's, you know, part of like made up of different crystals, but it's a high frequency, a high vibrational crystal. You've got like amethyst in there, like quartz in there as well, and they're very sort of like high frequency crystals. Rose quartz as well, just around sort of like universal love, balance, harmony, which is what's needed. A lot of us are going through a shifting and changing at the moment as we're starting to dissolve the 3D reality, and this is still happening. This is happening constantly at the moment, constantly happening for me, constantly happening for you, constantly happening for lots of us. I've been seeing a lot of seeing a lot of sort of energy at the moment. I keep seeing these kind of lines of energy that are coming down and they're going into the trees. I'm seeing like portals or like triangles or pyramids, and that's very much around like expansion, very expansive awareness, expansive consciousness, expansion in consciousness. And I feel like all of these are connecting in at the moment, and it's very much this kind of time. And I keep talking about this 3D reality, and I keep talking about the 5D blueprint, and that's very much what's going on with co-creation. I keep talking about the universal laws, keep talking about the universal law of correspondence, because and inspired action, which are two very important ones, because they talk about going within daily and just sort of like connecting into your source energy. It's very much around sort of openness. I keep talking about being open at the moment, and it's as when you start to become open, you start to come open to your true nature, and you also come open to your infinite being. And this is what this time's about. It's about awakening to that. It's awakening to source energy and starting to create a blueprint within your own reality. And this is what 5D does. When you start to connect into the source energy, you start to connect at like a higher blueprint, a higher sort of reality, a more spiritual reality. And this is very much where it's like integration comes in. It's about integrating sort of and using wisdom in your life to start to sort of like really shift old patterns, old reality experiences, and also shift reality, shift the 3D blueprint, which is very much around the external world. But the external world and the 3D blueprint is very much around sort of not trying to control things, but also being distracted and sort of like allowing the outside world of chaos and in a sense that's what distracts us. As the 5D blueprint is not about that. It's about inner harmony, it's about balance, it's about peace, it's about standing in your own light, it's about standing in your own power. And this is very much relevant at the moment. I mean, I was talking to a colleague, like a friend the other day, and we have like a daily sort of like catch up, and we talk about things all the time, all things spiritual. She talks about her life, I talk about things that are going on with me. I talk about like some of the communication I get from the ascended masters, and we talk about these kind of things. And what came out the other day was really about stepping into your own power. And what does this mean? This means about creation. This means about starting to awaken to that fact that you're a creative being. You're co-create. You're in this blueprint of like co-creation. You when you open up to source energy and you step into your own power, you start to realize that you can create your own reality. Nothing outside of you has the power to take you off your center. Nothing outside of you has the power to distract you. It's only when you're not being conscious. And the 5D blueprint is very much around that, knowing that you've got source energy around you, you've got spirits, you've got guides with you that are working with you, that are bringing and leading you to your purpose. And the purpose of all spiritual beings is to awaken. It is to walk in that light, to express that light, to express their essence, and that's what the fifth 5D blueprint is very much around. So this is why it's so important. This is why I've picked these kind of crystals today. This is why I'm drawn to them. Labradorite, removing the mental blockages, so that the illusions, like opening up your sort of your third eye and open up your crown chakra to, so you start to receive the information, receive the divine intelligence. Again, this connects to our Moira, who brings that. It brings this, the ascended master, who brings this blue ray of communication, the divine wisdom, the divine intelligence, and it's very much around that. It's about opening up, and it's about connecting to yourself. It's been in that harmony again. This is the universal law of oneness, that nothing is separate. I've also had lately, I've had a lot of it, sort of like where I keep seeing like diamond energy, and diamond energy is very much around sort of like this integration of spiritual reality in a physical experience, and it awakens us to our souls and our spirits, and it allows us to start to reclaim those gifts, reclaim those qualities of our soul, and start to express them within our own reality. And this is what this time's about, and this is what we're moving towards at the moment. So it's very much around sort of doing the work, to dissolve that 3D reality, which is the one that keeps us connected to stress, anxiety, money, materialism, work situations, all these kind of things that actually sort of stop us being able to be free. And like the 5D blueprint is very much around being free, and expressing yourself and walking in your own light, like he keeps saying, walking in your own power. And I feel this is what's going on. And like these portals and these pyramids are very much around shifting of expansion and higher frequencies, but they allow you to connect to yourself, and your source energy and your essence, and so you can start to express your light and your energy, but your true nature. And your true nature is you're a spiritual being. All of us are spiritual beings. We've got this spiritual energy, and our true nature is that we can co-create. We've got alchemy. We've got this spiritual alchemy within us. We have the ability to create, and this is what alchemy is to me. It's creation. And this is where very much again Saint Germain comes in, as you talk about, like I keep saying about his past life as Merlin the magician. This is very much around spiritual alchemy, knowing that you can create at any moment, that you can remove blockages, you can remove barriers. I mean, the theme of this of removing, again, it's the universal law of transmutation and transformation, that at any time you can transform, you can transmute, so you can go from one state of being, you can go for a different state of consciousness whenever you choose, because actually that's what your spiritual essence can do. And when you're aware of that and you open up to the consciousness of it, again, I feel like as I start to talk about this, my whole energy frequency is changing. My heart center is opening up. I feel like I've got angelic presences with me as they start to talk about this. I feel that it's so important for us to awaken and know that we're not sort of stuck. None of us are stuck, and the outer reality is only an illusion, as the inner reality is the true nature, is the true expression of spirit. And this is why we go into the fifth dimensional reality. It's about knowing that we have the power to change. We have the power to change anything. We have the power to create anything. And this is how the universal laws work. Again, the universal law of attraction works on that. When you're open. And this is why openness is so important. Because when you're open to your source and you're open to your spiritual energy, there's nothing to do. You're just in perfect creation. And what happens then is you're sending out a vibration or a frequency to the universe, because you've awakened to your spiritual essence. And what happens then is the universe, brings in these opportunities, brings in these frequencies that are needed. And it's also knowing that you're in the right place and you're where you're meant to be. There's nothing to do. All you need to do is keep expressing that, and if you express that, you'll be supported, you'll be guided, you'll gain the intuition, you'll gain the understanding of what's the next step. You're never stuck. Even though we may feel like this, we may feel like there's things and challenges that go on in our life that that sort of like sometimes feel like we feel like, oh, we don't know where we're going, what's happening. But if you stay in that light and you stay in that energy, then the frequencies will already be creating. They'll all be already be manifesting around you, as long as you remain in that light. And that's why it's so important about this 5D blueprint, because it's like it's creation. It's creation existing and vibrating. And when we're in that 5D blueprint, we are always existing and creating, and spirit world and the spirit and source energy is working and creating with us. And this is how the universal law of attraction works. This is how the universal law of abundance works. Compensation works, which is very much around the universal law of like tenfold, where when you give freely, you receive, and you receive back tenfold. So it's very much around that. So if you're trying to attract things in your life, don't look outside, look within, because that's the place, that's the starting, that's the seed of creation, that's the starting point of everything. Once you start to do that, and you start to just, so if anything comes along in your life that knocks you or affects you, go within it and go back in with that essence, that source energy. And what you'll start to do is you'll start to send out those frequencies. You'll start to send out those vibrations to the universe, and the universe will create the opportunities and the realities that are needed around you for your spirit, for your spiritual reality. And that will start to happen, and it will open up your energy centers. It will open up your insight, your intuition. And this is what this time's about. This time is not a, this is why this time is so powerful. And this is why, having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day about this, about stepping into their own power was a lesson for them, but it was a lesson for me as well. And this is how the universe works. It's a universal law of oneness, that all lessons and all insight are information and energy and frequencies, vibrations for all beings. It works on a collective consciousness, not a singular consciousness. And the 5D reality is very much around that. And then that's an important point, because the 3D reality is very much around what's happening to us, and we get very much caught up in this narrow view. We don't see the infinite sort of opportunities. We don't see the infinite sort of energy of creation that's happening or is within us that we can access. And that's what this time's about. And I feel this is what the masters want to talk about. They want to talk about creation. They want to talk about you as a spiritual being, awakening to that, and knowing that you have that ability, that when you're in your own source energy, that creation is already happening. There's nothing to do. There's only, all you need to do is remain in that creation vibration. And that's the 5D blueprint as well. And the 5D blueprint, once you start to connect into that, then there's other realities and other frequencies that start to open up. And I feel this is what's happening. And I feel this is what's needed. So start to connect to this. I've got very white energy around there. I just feel my whole body is just shifted into a white energy. So that's very much, again, clearing, cleansing, higher awareness, higher frequencies, higher understanding, higher consciousness. Because white is pure. It's this pure consciousness. It's this pure vibration. It's this pure source energy. Also, I'm getting like yellow, which is creation again. Creativity as well. I'm getting pink, which is around harmony again, balance, healing. Blue again, healing, communication, insight, knowledge, communication, wisdom. All of those kind of things is just starting to flow in as I start to open up. And all of this is just by having a conversation, talking about crystals, talking about, so the daily insight, that ability to access source energy and creation allows you in any moment, in any second. And this is what this is the real lesson that the I feel the masters want to keep bringing across, and also the angelics and your guides, and all of it is about sort of creation. You're a creative being. Don't feel stuck. You have the ability at any time to transmute and transform anything. And this is what this time's about, and this is why it's such a powerful time. The spiritual realities, the spiritual cultures in the past knew this. Atlantis, Lemuria, they all knew this. They were always connected to the universal sort of community of like the teachers, the ascended masters. They knew this. They were part of it. And this is what this time's about. It's about coming back to that. It's regaining those qualities of source energy, of creation. It's always been about creation. This is what the spiritual reality and this purpose of why we're here is to be connected, just to create and express our light. And this is like the notion of what people say we're light workers. It's expressing their light, their energy in everything they do, and being conscious of it. This is what a light worker does. They heal, they help, they gain insight, they share knowledge. Um, that they that it's all about that. It's about light and energy and frequency, and then the universal laws work on this. This is why the universal law of vibration is so powerful and so important, because again, once you understand that you can step into your own light and your own power, you can dissolve, you can shift your frequency. And this is how reality is created. This is how we create, and this is alchemy again. There are a lot of sort of like repetition with themes, but I feel this is the lesson. This is the lesson, or this is the insight. This is the information that needs to be passed on to all spiritual beings, and it's very much around that time. So it's about clearing and cleansing, and sitting and stepping into your own light and your own power, and not allowing anything in life to distract you or to become a barrier or a challenge, because actually you have the ability to dissolve that. And that's what the 5D blueprint brings, and that's the 5D reality is about, that power, stepping into it. So it's very empowering. So this is what the insight's about today.